What is up, guys? It's Alexia here from That Girl with a Purpose. I have a lot of red going on today. That was intentional. I'm just digging the color red right now, honestly. I work in retail as well, so every time we get in a red piece of clothing or a red item, I keep looking at it now and I'm like, I need that in my life. I don't know what it is about red, but I have this obsession right now. So you guys are probably gonna see a lot of red. Red lips, red eyeshadow, red shirts. It's going down because red is my thing right now. Today I have something really important that I want to share with you guys. It happened to me a couple days ago, and I'm gonna cut right to the chase about what it was all about. And just, I can't stop thinking about it. It was a really uncomfortable situation. It was something that bothered me enough to come on camera, and I think that it's really important to share with you guys kind of what went down. So as you guys probably know, I'm a big feminist. I'm somebody who stands for women empowerment. I stand for equality, and I stand for women being able to speak their mind and voice their opinion about anything that's bothering them or anything that's important to them. And it's because a lot of the time in my life, I always felt like I held back because I wanted to be the nice girl. I didn't want to cause any conflict. It wasn't serving me to hold back how I was really feeling and really standing up for things that I believed in. But in the past 2 years, since I've been in such a transformation in how I speak and the things that I believe in, I really do think it's important to empower other women and people in general to speak up to something that they really feel passionate about or something that's important to them. So I was working in my store, I was folding a couple of pieces of clothes on the table, and all of a sudden I heard somebody speaking. And I didn't think they were speaking to me, but then I heard, excuse me, and I turned around and it was a guy standing there. And he was like, is this a women's only store? And I'm like, yeah, it's a women's only store. And he just kept looking at me. And I was like, okay. I didn't know what to really say back. And all of a sudden he pulls out his phone and he takes a picture of me. And I was trying to I guess my reflex caught on and I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And then he started kind of laughing. And I was just really confused at that point. And then all of a sudden he took another picture of me and I'm like, you can't take pictures of me, stop doing that. And he was like, haha, he started laughing. It was just, I did not get a good vibe. I can honestly feel people's vibes and I just didn't get a good vibe at all. He was making me feel really uncomfortable by the way that he was looking at me. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm sure people know what I'm talking about when they've been in a situation and they're just looked at a certain way where they feel very uncomfortable. It's like somebody's kind of really looking through you, Anyways, that's kind of what was happening. So he took 2 pictures of me, and at that point I was really disturbed and I just didn't know what was happening. So I was like, don't take pictures of me. And he said, oh no, I'm just joking. There's pictures of me. He's like, I'm just doing this for your reaction. I'm a YouTuber or something like that. And he was like, but how did that make you feel? And I was so confused at this point. I was literally frozen. I didn't really know what to say. So I was like, honestly, who are you? Who are you? So at this point, my manager, I was looking over to the side of the store to see if she was anywhere close by because I was really not getting a good vibe from this guy. And she actually was looking at me. She saw me engaging and talking with this guy and she paged me. She's like, Alexia, come to the back of the store. And as she said that, I kind of kept looking over there, wanting to escape but not really knowing what to say. And this guy was like, why do you keep looking over there? And I was just I didn't know what to say to him. So I'm like, don't take my picture without asking me. And he was like, why? You look good though. And he started getting a little bit closer to me. And at that point I was scared. He wasn't with anybody. He was just on his own. At that point he left. He ended up going off and I was just left to feel really uncomfortable. So I went over and I told my manager what happened. And she was like, you have to go tell security. Go tell security right away. And I was walking outside to go tell security and I saw 3 girls standing around security as well. And so I went up to the security guard and before he could even say anything, I overheard these girls talking about something that happened to them. And what happened to them was basically the exact same thing that happened to me. It was this guy going up to them and taking pictures of them without asking and making them feel really uncomfortable in the way that he was looking at them and the way that he was interacting with them. So it was really interesting because I actually recognized these girls. I go to this this vegan and organic place, this juice bar, to always get drinks, and they work there. And so when I saw them, I'm like, hey, I recognize you guys. And I asked them, I'm like, did the same thing happen to you? And they were like, yeah, did some guy just come up to you and start asking you questions and taking pictures of you? And I'm like, yeah, the same thing happened to me. I was at work. So the security guard was listening to us. He was hearing us out, and I kind of told him what happened to me as well. And he was really extremely nonchalant about it. Like, we were all, physically, you could see we were all really disturbed and uncomfortable by what happened. We felt like it was an invasion of privacy, and that, you know, we felt violated in a way, because not just women, but for anybody to be in that situation where someone comes up to you and just starts taking pictures of you without your consent and asking you kind of questions that you're not willing to answer, it'll make you feel uncomfortable. So basically, we were talking to the security guard, and he was like, what did this guy look like? And out of the corner of my eye, I saw the guy. He was standing like in a distance, but I recognized him. And I told the security guard, I'm like, that's him over there. So the security guard walked over, but it was very like nonchalant. So I went back in my store at this point, but there was windows, so I could see the security guard going up to the guy and talking to him. So I went out of my store again because the girls were waiting for him to come back, and he went back to talk to them. And I was like, so what happened? Did you tell him? Like, did you give him a warning? Did anything happen? And the security guard was like, well, I gave him a verbal warning. And the way that he was speaking about it, like the security guard just seemed like it wasn't a big deal. That kind of bothered me because I was actually feeling really uncomfortable, and same with the other 3 girls. 4 girls went up to the security guard and told them, you know, they were somewhat violated by this guy, this creepy guy who was coming up to us and taking pictures and not really asking for permission. But the security guard said, he was like, well, I can't really do anything about it. And this made me question, like, why can't you do more about it, right? Like, he gave him a verbal warning, which to me isn't much. It's something, but it's not enough for him to stop in his tracks and really say, okay, like, maybe I shouldn't continue to do this. People are taking this seriously. It's kind of like, oh, it's just a warning, so it would happen again. And, you know, the way I looked at it was like, he may not have touched me, he may not have physically touched me or physically touched the other women, but the way that he was interacting with us and made us felt was just as uncomfortable. It was the way that he was looking. It was the things that he was saying. And it's like, physically, you may not have to be touched and assaulted by someone to feel it, but we really did feel like we were somewhat violated in that way. And I guess the lack of real like urgency, or I guess like just the security guard didn't take it seriously. And that's what made me really angry. Like, it was really eating me away the rest of the day that he didn't even get this guy's name, number, anything down. And I kind of asked if there was anything more that he could do, and he said no. And who knows, he could have taken the pictures and they could be somewhere on his phone. But just because he showed the security guard his camera roll doesn't mean that they were somewhere else. So to know that this guy, this random guy, this creepy guy who came up to all of us might have our pictures on his phone, nothing was really done. It could have been stopped from going even further, but I almost feel like because it wasn't, he can go on to making other girls feel just as uncomfortable, or maybe even going to an extreme. Basically, what the security guard said to me was, we can't do anything unless he physically touches you. Unless he physically assaults you, we can't do anything about it. And so it made me wonder, why does it have to get to that point? You know? Like, there's 4 girls going up to you saying that we all felt uncomfortable and violated, and right there and then, like, you could get his name and his information. It can be stopped in its tracks. You could potentially even say, you know what, I'm gonna ask you to leave the mall just because you're making some people in here feel uncomfortable by taking pictures of them without asking. But that didn't happen. So it's like, we have these incidences coming up in society right now where women are getting sexually assaulted, and even men are getting sexually assaulted, and there's warning signs that are there usually. There's signs in people that sometimes are there beforehand, before they make the move, before they do something, that shows this kind of behavior. And this is a straight up example of somebody who was making women feel uncomfortable and violated and somewhat, you know, invading their privacy. And the security guard couldn't do anything about it. People skateboard through the mall, people start fights in the mall, and people even like are just really loud in the mall, and they'll be kicked out of the mall for that kind of behavior. But 4 girls are coming up to security guards saying that they felt uncomfortable and extremely like disturbed by what happened to them, and nothing can be done. So it makes me think, I just wanted to put it out to you guys. Is this something that makes sense? Is this something that you think should be brought to attention, of more security guards within malls or within stores or wherever, that, you know, if women are even verbally being made to feel uncomfortable, and it's more than one. You know, it's not just one woman, which should be enough to for something to be done, but it was actually four, or maybe even more, maybe even less, talking to authority about something happening. I personally think more action should have been taken, and it actually really upset me that it wasn't. So basically, I want to share that with you guys and just express that if you're somebody who's feeling uncomfortable in any kind of situation, whether you be a male or female, somebody is saying comments to you or, you know, taking pictures without your consent or whatever it might be, don't be afraid to speak up. Please don't hesitate to do that, because all of that counts. And, you know, that kind of behavior can be stopped early on if people speak up about it. Or no matter how big or how small it is, I just urge you to do so and feel empowered in that, and know that there's other people who are behind you and willing to support you. We need women and men to have each other's backs in these kind of situations and not be afraid to really speak up. You know, I'm really fortunate and blessed that it wasn't something more, like he didn't touch me or something even worse happened. But it was still a violation. It was still something that made me feel uncomfortable and made me feel like I wanted to speak up about this and bring some attention to it. So thank you for watching, and I have some really good videos coming up for you guys. I know I haven't posted a lot lately. I've just been super busy, but there's some really exciting stuff on the way, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. Thanks so much for your support and for watching this, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!